an $800 microphone. And then he holds his hand up like this. He didn't drop it. He spiked it. Bam, hit her head on the ground. She had a heart attack while dancing. Somehow or another, and I think it was angels, I got up and I don't remember my feet moving at all. I don't have a set. I've never, ever, ever had a set. I went up against, I think they said it was like 120 DJs that tried out. Pastor prayed for me and asked me if I'll accept Jesus into my heart as my Savior, and I said yes. I'm getting emotional right now.
Yeah. DJ Mike Sean of Crew Entertainment, thank you so much for meeting with me on
got it, man. No
Not A
problem.
Panda Podcast. So, for anybody who's not yet familiar with you, if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself, your business, what it is that you guys do, just so that I don't put you into like any kind of boxes and stuff, so you can introduce yourself on that.
There's no guys, it's all me.
Okay, yeah.
So I've been DJing for 46 years. I hate to say that because when people hear that and they don't see me, they're going, "Oh my God, he's a grandpa. He's like so old," you know. But you know, I don't want to slate myself as being old. But
I hear you.
I started when I was 15. And just messing around, doing a party here, party there, school dance, whatever the case is, and kind of went through building by accident. Not something I wanted to do. It just happened organically. And I just did it for fun, but I made money on it. And when I got to be like 16, we had this little club of about 25 guys. And we called it the gang back then, but it was the Crew, C-R-E-W, Crew. That's the business name that I have now.
Love it.
And I didn't start it. Other guy started it, and he decided he wanted to be scuba certified and become a lawyer. And so he went off in a different direction. Everybody's like, okay, well, now the guy that started is gone. So then I took it over. Everybody's like, well, Mike will do it. He's a DJ. Let him do it. Well, that kind of parlayed into, God had a plan for me the whole time. I didn't have a plan, but he had a plan.
Yeah.
And then it just went on. And here I am 46 years later, man, from 1980. Dang. You know, with vinyl, and I went through the CD phase, and then now the digital, and multiple different styles of DJing. And I did first I did just events until I was 18 because I couldn't do clubs.
Understandably, yeah, just kind of not the scene they want kids around.
So I did events till I was 18, school dances, proms, homecomings, birthday parties, weddings, corporate events, stuff like that till I was 18. Not a ton of them. But enough to put me through college and pay my bills and not have to work at McDonald's or a clothing store.
Right, yeah.
So, and then I got into nightclubs, and I was still doing my events and then do nightclubs. So I do nightclubs on some nights, do my events when I didn't have my nightclub nights, and filled up my calendar that way. Okay. And then when I got to be 22, I was going to college. Got my mass communications. Well, I didn't get the actual degree. I got an AA towards it. So I got Associate of Arts degree towards mass communications. And then I went to a broadcasting school, and I landed my first job at 93.3 FLZ and WFLA 970 News Radio.
Got it.
And I did the morning show there, and I also did promotions for 93.3, did the morning show on FLA. So I did my reporting. I did traffic, weather, and then on-street reporting for them.
Yeah.
And I was there for about, I'd say a year. And then one of the newscasters like, Mike, don't you do nightclubs? I go, yeah. She goes, Pleasure Island is looking for a DJ at Disney World, Walt Disney World. They're having auditions. Why don't you go? And she had the newspaper. And I'm like, I was in radio. I was doing my gig. I really wasn't it. But I said, I'd give it a shot, right? Just to see if I can fare up to everybody.
Yeah.
And I'll be darned. I went up against, I think they said it was like 120 DJs that tried out.
That's crazy.
Over a 2 or 3 week period.
Yeah, and it's not just like Florida. They didn't lock it to locals. Like you could come in from other locations
all over the United States.
Yeah,
people there from California, Texas, Pennsylvania, Philly, all over the place, Michigan.
Right.
So everybody was there from different places. And I should say everybody was there. They all had slots.
Right.
And the funny part about it is I didn't have a slot. So when I called, they said, it's all taken up.
Oh.
And what I said was, a buddy of mine told me that his name's John Rodriguez. Made it up. John Rodriguez is going to drop out. He can't make it, so he wanted me to take his spot. She goes, oh, okay, let me put you in. So I got in by accident. But
Yeah.
anyway.
That's amazing.
So
I'm sure somebody probably did end up dropping out though. So
I
it
don't
probably
know.
worked
I don't
out.
know. All I know is they had weeks of auditions. And anyway,
Yeah.
they got me in. It was at the, it's called Mannequins at the time. It had a spinning dance floor. You know how Disney is. All out
right, yeah.
DJ on the second level. It was really cool. And I walked in there. I was just like, holy smoke, this is awesome.
This is the big time.
Yeah, this is big time. So I went in there. And they told me to mix a little bit, and I did. I did, vinyl. It was vinyl back then. I didn't know their record collection or nothing. I just kind of spinning through vinyl and then picked one and started DJing. And I did about 4 or 5 mixes, and they were like, okay, that's enough. And they said, okay, now it's New Year's Eve. What would you do? What would you say? How would you bring in New Year's Eve? And I just grabbed the mic. Now, again, I hadn't been DJing since I was 15.
Right.
So I already had, at that point, it was 10 years from 80 to 90. That I had already been DJing.
Man.
So in 10 years.
So you had some experience under your belt already.
Yeah, I just grabbed the mic and I took off and it acted like it was New Year's,
Right.
And they loved it. And they said, between my mixing abilities, my personality, my look, my voice, how I presented myself on the microphone, the projection, as well as the excitement for New Year's and all.
Yeah.
They said, you got the job. So I said, well, what do I do now? Because I was also firefighter certified, waiting to get on with the fire department.
Yeah.
So I can DJ on the off days.
Right. So you that way you could put out fires when you're not putting fire on the track.
Yeah. Yeah, I was contradicting myself.
Right.
I'm lighting fires and putting them out. So anyway, so bottom line is that I said, okay, well, what's the pay? And they said 4 days a week. I said, can I have Saturday and Sunday off so I can go DJ, or Friday and Saturday? I forget what I said. But anyway, it was 2 days a week that I had off. I think it was Friday and Saturday off. And they said, yeah, you'll work Sunday through Thursday. And I said, yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, it's New Year's Eve every night on Pleasure Island.
Right, yeah.
So it's 7 days a week. So basically we celebrated New Year's Eve and New Year's Eve on 7 days a week.
Because they always have all the fireworks and everything. And,
Right. So basically I was there Sunday through Thursday. I had 1 day off. I can't remember the day. This is back in 1990. And that was it. So then from there, I went into radio. I got back into radio when I left Pleasure Island because I wanted to be the next big radio star. I thought I was the next Howard Stern, which wasn't even close.
Right.
but I thought I was. I thought I was going to be the big guy.
Yeah.
And I did radio for 10 years, bouncing around from radio station to radio station. Some of them I got fired for stuff that I shouldn't have done. And the other ones, they change format and they fire the whole staff. And then you got to go find another radio station.
Yeah.
Or this station gets bought out by this company. And then,
Yep. All the interpolitics of the radio station world.
Exactly. So then in 2000, I was doing middays at 100.7. And that was the last radio station. I was like so bored. I was done with radio. I was like, I am just so bored. Because when I'm out live, I can interact, I can mix, I can get on the mic. When you're on radio, it's pretty much reading cards or computer. Yeah. You're just hitting a song. I mean, it's just you're in a fishbowl by yourself.
Yeah, it's a lot of like technical, set it up and go kind of stuff.
The biggest thing about a radio DJ is an ego. That's it.
Yep.
Other than that,
I think you mean personality.
Yeah.
Is it?
The radio DJ job, in my opinion, sucks compared to what we do on in events or nightclubs and stuff like that. It's just you're a robot, and then everything is corporate controlled, and everybody tells you what to do because you've got these consultants, and the consultants are basically telling everybody at the radio station what to do, and they're watering it down. So I'm like, I'm done. I left that and just did events. So since 2000 or 2001, to pinpoint an exact year, till current, which is 25 years, all I've done is events. Goodness. And I've built up my my reputation, my business, to where I'm doing about 200 events a year.
Jeez. Yeah, so you are quite busy. I remember when I first contacted you, you said that you had like 4 events in one weekend, something crazy.
I do. Well, it's not even the weekend. I mean, like this coming week, I'm DJing tomorrow.
Right.
I'm DJing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'm off Thursday again.
Yeah.
So it's it's through the weekend, during the weekdays. I have a lot of corporate events, a lot of bar and bat mitzvahs, sometimes weddings. Sometimes weddings will do not usually in the summer because it's hot in the summer, but you'll get weddings on Mondays and Thursdays and Wednesdays and stuff like that throughout the year when it's not so hot because it's Tampa. We're in Tampa, Florida. So.
Right, yeah. So how far in advance do you have to plan vacations?
I have to sometimes, because I get booked up. I'm booked in 2028 at this point here, but not every week. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I've got a scattered booking here and a booking there, and then like in 27, again, I may be booked 50 times where another 150 will come through between now and 27.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that when I go to look at the book and I talk to the wife about what are we going to do, it's going to be basically when are you open?
Right.
What weekend do you have open? And then we block it off.
That makes sense.
And the reason why I'm not booked more in the month of June is because I'm taking off from the 19th to the 31st.
Right.
Because we're going on an anniversary trip for 10 days.
Yeah. Take time for yourself.
So
Happy anniversary when you reach it.
It's tough. And I do get calls for those days, and I try to block them off so I don't, pay a fee for like what they call a lead fee. But like even if I got DJs, like, hey, I'm going to be out of town, but if you want one of my guys, I can recommend somebody, and then I make a little cut off of it for booking them, letting them use my equipment or whatever the case is. So, but I let them know it's not me.
Yeah. It's like this is just
I'm helping you out.
Yeah, trying to be nice. Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. So back when you first got started, that's like a different world of DJing to what we experience these days. I remember the first time that I had somebody explain to me what it's like to be a DJ with records and like the amount of equipment that you had to have and everything. I'm just like, man, all I have to do is just download it. If anyone ever requests a song that I don't have on my actual set list, and it's still like a good song that can be played. Worst case scenario is I can always just play it off of some streaming service or something. So it's like the accessibility of songs and the ability to just use a web search for what song people are even talking about in the first place. If you're not already familiar with it, I mean that's just a different animal. But just could you go into a little bit of like what that world was like pre-CDs?
I remember, as a pup, 15, 16, 17 years old, going to a local radio station, which was, praise God, maybe 4 blocks from my house. I don't even remember, I'm trying to think of 1, 2, probably about 4 to 6 blocks from my house. I'll say 5 just to split the difference. Yeah. But I ride the bike there. I wasn't even driving when I was 15. So I used to ride the bike there and buy a few records from money I either got for DJing or cutting grass or washing cars or whatever I was doing to make that money. I'd go buy some records to start building a library. And then once I had my library built, I could go out and DJ. Right. There was also record pools back then. They're called record pools today, but real record pools.
Right. With actual records.
Right. You had to actually go there and pick up your records at the record pool. So there'd be a distribution, and you go to this location, you pick up the records. And then they started offering a mailing, obviously, for more money to be able to mail you your records. But mailing records in the sun of Tampa, Florida, you have to also worry about warping. So there were some vinyl that got warped and stuff like that. But picking it up in a controlled truck where you're not going to have warped vinyl was the best way to go.
Makes sense.
But you have to go there. You have to and there was no such thing as like a record company or somebody going, hey, DJ Mike, we got this new 45, this new 12-inch coming out.
It's a new hit.
Yeah. You just go through it and you just kind of, and the lady was so nice. Her name was Yolanda. I want to give her a shout out because she was a Spanish lady. I could hardly understand her. But, but she ran a great little record spot, like I said. And she treated me great, always gave me discounts, because they're buying like all the time, trying to build my library for the first 4 or 5 years of DJing there. Yeah. And she would always recommend records to me. She'd always say, hey, this one's good, this one's Spanish, or this one American, or whatever. And she would recommend them to me, whether it was a 45 or whether a 12-inch or a full album. I bought it all.
So she knew her inventory.
She knew her inventory, yeah. And then I knew what I was looking for too. Right. And sometimes I would say, hey, I heard this song or whatever on the radio, or DJs are talking about this. I want to pick one up, and she didn't have it, so she would order it. So then I'd get it in a couple of weeks. Where now someone will, hey, can you play? You're like,
right, immediately.
It wasn't like that, man. Yeah. And when people came up to request stuff back then, it wasn't like now. Now I never, unless I don't want to play it because I know it's going to kill my dance floor. Right. But I never turn down a request. I'll even take a request that I know there's no way I'm going to play this. And then sometime throughout the night, I may find a spot where I can go, you know what? I can feel this
vibes.
now. I'm not looking to pack the dance floor.
Yeah.
I need a downtime, or I've been jamming out for 20 minutes. I need to kill it on purpose.
Right.
And I play that. So I get 3 people that love that song on the dance floor.
Yeah.
The rest of them go, give them a break, then they come on back. And then I call that basically a left turn or punt. So I'm fourth and long.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
and I'm going to kick it to the other team,
just-
take a break, regroup.
Yeah.
That's basically.
You know, that ebb and flow is something that I think a lot of DJs underestimate the value of. I see online so many DJs will be, they will die on the hill that you have to play the most high energy stuff all night long because if people are leaving the dance floor, that means you're doing something wrong. And while that can be the case, that, you're killing your dance floor, it doesn't necessarily mean that's always what's happening. And so I primarily have done weddings. That's where most of my experience has been in. And for me, what I've definitely found is that if you allow the floor to kind of breathe, expand and contract a little bit, that tends to be the sweet spot of people who they want to go over and grab a drink, but they don't want to miss out on something, but they do want to make sure that the energy is having a good time the whole time. And so sometimes I'll just play a song that's going to make people laugh. It's not necessarily a dance energy kind of a song, but something that's just good energy that makes them have positive experiences and think well of what's happening with the dance floor. And so from your experience, because I've only been in the business for 8 years now, so I don't want to pretend like I'm some guru in it, but from your experience, how has that played out for you when it comes to that finding that balance between when to force energy on the dance floor and when to let it breathe?
I'm probably one. I hate to say this because every time I say something in my life, it's kind of almost like it jinxes me. But I feel like I'm one of the best at reading the crowd. Mm-hmm. And my goal is to stay one step ahead of everything at all times. So if I'm in total control, everybody else follows me. Yeah. I'm still feeding off the energy. I'm still watching in body language. I'm still looking at, who's dancing, who's not dancing. I'm going to get those people up. So let me play, the twist, or let me play something just because grandma and grandpa haven't gotten up in 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Got to find something for them.
So, right. So, you're basically if at weddings for you, mm-hmm. I'll tell you about nightclubs and other things, but
because that's a different vibe
for sure. Way different. But anyway, at weddings, I'd say 99, I'm probably wrong on the percentage, but 90 to 99% of the people that are at that wedding do not go out dancing every week or every month and dance for 20 or 30 minutes at a nightclub. Or even an hour,
or at all if you have small children or older folks. Yeah,
correct. So they're not acclimated there. Okay.
Yeah.
So to get people to get out on the dance floor for an hour or 2 hours straight ain't gonna happen. No. So what I do is that I'm always trying to rotate the dance floor. Let somebody who's not dancing come up. Give them a break. Because once you lose them and mentally they go, I'm just tired. I'm just not gonna dance anymore. I'm just, or just man, time to go, We've had fun. Once you've lost that. Yeah. They're gone.
Yep.
They're done. Mentally, they've checked out. You're done.
Yeah.
So you got to keep everybody having a good time, keep the vibe. Not only, if I get a gap where I'm doing a party or a wedding that's got younger kids, and when I say younger kids, I'm saying 15 to 25.
Yeah.
And then I got 25 to 40. And then I got grandparents 50 to 70.
Right.
Right? I know I got that gap.
Yeah.
So what I try to do is find songs as well as to rotate the dance floor. The older people out, younger people out, that's fine. But I also try and find those songs that will work with both.
Right.
Whether it is a line, unless the bride says no line dances. But if the line dances are allowed, if it's a line dance or a group dance or something fun like YMCA or anything that's going to be...
A lot of disco hits are pretty good for that.
As long as it's going to be a generation gap builder, I can bridge the two, and then I go back to, slow song or what. You got to give them, you said ebb and flow, perfect. Mm-hmm. You got to give them a chance to regroup, because not even me, I'm not going to dance for an hour, hour and a half straight.
Right. No.
At high energy.
Just bouncing around.
There's no way I could. I mean, even when I work out, after doing 2 or 3 minutes of whatever I'm doing, I need 30 seconds just to breathe.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot of cardio.
Yeah. So a lot of times if I see guys, they're jumping and stuff like that, but then it lulls. And the reason why is because our bodies can only take so much unless we're in I mean, tip-top condition, and you don't have 150 people at an event that's tip-top condition.
Right, yeah. No.
So to let you know, yeah, I mean, I do that. But anyway, going back to the vinyl thing, not to parlay, but you were asking about that. When people request music, you had to have the record, you had to have the song there because there was no downloading back then.
Right.
So that actual that piece of vinyl, you'd be flipping through. If you didn't have that actual song, but you had something similar or something that would still kind of vibe with that person, you still satisfied that person. Now, if you don't have their song, they're thinking, well, I got it on my phone. I've got it on my Spotify. I got it on my Apple, playlist or whatever.
Right.
Why don't you have it?
Yeah.
So it was so much more acceptable back then for the DJ to lead the crowd.
Yeah.
Now you have to lead the crowd, but you also have to make them happy because there's no reason why you shouldn't have that song.
Yes.
None.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. What I'll tell people sometimes is like, I'm not going to be able to do any like fancy mixing with that song probably, but I can at least play it. If that's a song you know for sure you definitely want, I can at least get it for you. But I try to keep those to a minimum because there is a certain point where the unique way that you put together a set is part of what they're buying, like part of the experience that they're really looking forward to.
I don't DJ that way, but
fair.
That's on you.
Fair enough. When you say you don't DJ that way, which side of it do you mean? Like you don't play?
I like any DJ that goes, I do a set. I'm the seat of my pants.
See what you're saying.
I'm the seat of my pants. I don't have a set.
Yep. I
don't have a predetermined, like people will call me up and go, hey, I want to, hire you. You got great reviews. You got this, you got that.
Right.
So what kind of music do you play?
I love that question.
Man. Anything you want.
Right. I play what you want to hear.
Anything that the crowd's going to respond to. If the crowd's not responding, I'm not playing it. That kind of thing. And don't get me wrong. I've played a song that I thought was going to keep the dance floor going, and I've lost it.
And you're just like, who are you people?
And I'm like, oh, well, I guess that didn't work.
Yeah.
But what I started doing I'm talking 20, 30 years ago maybe, and I don't know how I came up with it or whatever. And it was just one of those things where like, you're not going to get the best of me. I'm the DJ, not because I'm egocentric or pompous or whatever. Yeah. I just know that if I lose them, it's pulling teeth to get them back. So for me not to lose them, I hit a song and I see people start scattering. It's like, then I'm totally regrouping. I grab the mic. All right, folks, that one didn't work. I'm out of it. And I start talking like, so we're going to try a slow song or we do a line or whatever I have to do or say, or maybe sometimes I don't even grab the mic. Sometimes I have a song, that I'm ready to go.
The emergency set.
Pop it up and boom up and get them back. Yeah. So usually when the dance floor clears, it's good to just, like I said, you're fourth and long. You didn't make the first down. Punt. Regroup and get them back then on the next set of downs.
Yeah.
The reason why I say I don't like doing a set is because I never have a certain song that I mix with another song.
Right.
I'm continuously reading the crowd.
Yeah.
And every 30 seconds to a minute, I'm reevaluating. I can't tell you how many times I've taken a song and I've put it up in queue in the turntable, got my pitch set, know where I want to bring the song in, know how I want to, like I already got it. This was playing. It's been playing for a minute or two. And I can't tell you that the energy in the dance floor changed. Or people started something changed where I'm reading the crowd, and 30 seconds that I thought, okay, this song will be great. 30 more seconds, I saw it change, and I have to go scramble now because I'm not going to play that song because it's not going to work now.
Right.
30 seconds changed my whole plan for that next song.
Yep.
So I don't have a set, and what I find is that the DJs that have a set. And I did a wedding Saturday in the afternoon. I left another DJ there to finish that wedding while I went to a friend of mine's wedding, which another DJ. And then I had my Cold Sparks there for him and my Dancing on the Cloud and stuff for them. Yeah. They did all that before I got there because I didn't get there till 8:30, 9 o'clock because I was at the other wedding.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that DJ, never met him before, not a bad DJ, but he had his set, so to speak.
Right. The thing,
and when the energy and I hate to be a critic, But I'm sitting there with my wife and I go, because we're friends. So we came there, her and I, as the guest to his wedding.
Got it.
And he's like, dude, I'm like, I'm booked that night. I can't. And he's like, oh, you got to come to my wedding, man. I'm like, I'm booked. And he's also a DJ.
Yeah.
So we had like maybe 20 DJs there because, he's a DJ. And
he has his connections, right?
So, right. So, and every DJ had their own little piece of what they brought to help him out. And mine was the cold sparks and the dancing on the cloud.
I love it.
Anyway, so long story short, I'm there and I looked at my wife and I go, this DJ is not reading the crowd, because they were dancing, they were doing great, and all of a sudden it just started to die off. And instead of him changing, he just kept going on with his mixes and his set.
Yeah,
and that's why I don't do a set. I don't do a set because you get so locked in to your groove, just like on a record. How many grooves are in a record?
I actually don't know that. I know there's.
I'm going to teach you a lesson.
It's like 12 or something.
One groove.
Oh, really? Oh, it just goes all the way around.
And it finishes.
Got it, because it's a spiral.
It's just, yes.
Oh, okay.
So basically, once you get into that groove, as your set, it's hard for you to pull out of it.
Yeah.
Until you're at the end. So just like a record, when that needle hits that groove, you don't get out of it until the end. Well, I'm just saying if it's a 12-inch or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You can mix out of it or whatever. But I'm just saying that's kind of like my analogy of
it's
I'm not a set DJ, and I hear hundreds of DJs talking about my set.
Right.
You can do your set because you know what? You're good at it. You've done it 100 times. You've practiced it. You know what works. This song after this song. Oh, this blends with this one. Great. Oh, I can do word tricks with this one. I can scratch on this one. Oh, I can.
There's some great reels you can get out of it.
You can make yourself look great online. But I'll put you next to me in front of a party, you won't even come close.
Right.
I will blow you away because what I can do is be versatile on the spot because that's what I've done all my life. I've never, ever, ever had a set.
I've found that it is highly underrated how valuable crowd reading and just playing appropriate music to the crowd is. Because for the first 5 years that I was in the business, I did extremely minimal mixing. Like I did not prioritize getting real fancy when it comes to isolations and BPMs and all that kind of stuff. My first priority was always just to say if I were in their shoes, what kind of experience would I want? And the answer to that is I would want a DJ who played music I liked. So that was always my priority as well, was start out with, what do they actually want to hear? What's going to be fun? What's going to make them go home? And this is what I always tell people. My first priority is not and is never going to be to pack the dance floor. My first priority is to make sure that when everyone goes home at the end of the night, they go home feeling like they had a good experience. As long as I can achieve that, it doesn't matter if people were dancing. No, I want them to. I want that to be a part of it.
And for me, the gauge of what you're saying is true, but the gauge is, are people on the dance floor?
Exactly.
And is everybody having a good time? Are even when I've been DJing and I've had people clear the dance floor, I go, what the heck? Everybody was having a good, and I'll not, when I say clear the dance floor, I don't mean it's a ghost town.
Yeah, not empty.
I mean, I had, let's say 50 people on the dance floor and now I've got 20, 30, and and I look over, the bride and the groom and all their friends are over getting a shot.
Yep.
At the bar.
Doing the bar
thing.
Doing
or they're doing a photo. The photographer's like, oh, let's get a group photo.
Yep.
It wasn't even me.
Right.
It wasn't nothing I did.
Yep, nothing
but
personal.
But now I have to regroup.
Yep, and find a way to get them back.
Or just kind of blend in something that I can get right.
Yeah.
So
maybe play shots by Limfao if they don't mind the explicit content.
I have all clean versions.
Fair.
And sometimes when I do play songs that are clean,
yeah,
I've had grooms and brides and clients are like, dude, you need to let these rip.
Right.
They are too clean for us.
We are not in preschool over here.
So then I'm pulling out the explicit version, which I have both, pulling out the explicit versions, and then I'm mixing them in. And, sometimes, if it's just like the other day, I did a wedding, I think a week ago, and they wanted Colt 45.
Right.
And you can't get much dirtier than that.
Decidedly.
So I said, well, do you want all the explicit? Let's go for it. So I started jamming out, and they were just jumping. And they had a great time. And I played all kinds of music that was explicit. But it actually worked out well. That's what they wanted. But 99% of the time, you're going to be in the clean mode. And I have all clean
Especially for
versions.
weddings specifically.
Yeah. Well, weddings, corporate events are worse than weddings, to be honest with you.
That's a fair point. Yeah, because they have their PR to care about.
Yeah, I'll sit there and I'll play at weddings, and then I'll have like a damn an ass or shit come out, and nobody says a word at a wedding, unless it's blatant.
Yeah.
But if back that ass up or something like that, if you're not too crazy with it, that's okay. Like hot damn on Uptown Funk,
Right.
But if I do a corporate event, sometimes they'll be like, don't play that. It's got damn in it. And it's because
got it.
It's because of the corporation, right? The client doesn't want to get somebody coming back and saying something bad.
One of my favorite things to ask other people in this events industry is what's been one of the crazier stories that's happened where you were just like, I could never have been prepared for this. Like what's that kind of a story?
I got one for you.
Okay. Yeah.
This is back, God, I would have to say this was back in probably 88, 89, maybe even, well, no, it was probably 88 or 89. Obviously vinyl DJing.
Yeah.
But I had some friends. We had a little friends group at that point, and one of my friends, cousin or aunt or somebody was getting married.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to DJ, of course, because even back then, everybody thought I was really good. Back then, I can tell you now, I wasn't near as good as I am now. But,
right, yeah.
But back then, they said, "Oh, it has to be you, has to be you." I'm like, "Okay, you don't want me to attend the wedding? I'll DJ." So I did, and it was Spanish and American people. So it was like a split. Probably a little more Spanish than American. So I'm jamming out the Spanish songs. Now remember, that was back in 89.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was no reggaeton. It was just salsa, merengue, some of the other stuff. But mainly salsa and merengue. So I played some good songs. But there's this one song that I played. I don't know if you ever heard of it or not. It's El Gran Combo. It's
I'm familiar with, that's the band, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the name of the song is Brujeria. And what that is,
I love brujeria.
Oh, so you know the song.
Yeah.
Well, it says, tú me hiciste brujeria. That means you put witchcraft on me, basically, is what it's saying. I'm not a great Spanish-English translator, but that's basically.
It's like you put a spell on me.
Right, you put a spell.
Yeah.
Packed dance floor.
Yeah.
One of the ladies dancing was in her 80s or 90s, one of the grandmothers. And she's, literally 10 feet in front of the DJ set.
Yeah.
Just dancing. Everybody's partying, I'm, jamming and get ready to mix another song, pull out another vinyl and everything. And all of a sudden, I hear everybody making commotion. Oh! She went straight back, stiffed up like that, and went straight back and bam, hit her head on the ground, laid on the ground. She had a heart attack while dancing.
No.
Yeah. And my wife, who was there, because again, it's a friend of mine, and my parents were there. It was a whole family that we knew.
Yeah.
And, she had a heart attack, and I was like, oh, my God, everybody. So my wife's a nurse. So at the time, my ex-wife now, but at the time, she was a nurse. So she jumped into action. Somebody else who was a nurse that was there jumped in. They did CPR, kept her alive until the fire department got there. And then they shocked her, got her heart back, and they were just, keeping the compressions going to keep the blood. She was really dead, but they were. And then they finally defibrillated her, got her heart back, and they ripped poor old lady. They ripped her shirt wide open, so she's there to God and everybody, half naked on the dance floor. And
gotta
everybody,
do what you got to do.
And I cut the music off, obviously, and we're all sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?" And they transported her to the hospital. Again, got her heart beating again there with the defibrillator, and then she happened to die later on at the hospital. But that was That was probably one of the craziest stories that I don't know if another DJ can tell a story like that. I don't know.
No.
But then I've had, fights. I've had all kinds. Drunk people, like where two people got into a fight and this guy's like, come outside. And he starts going. Well, he didn't realize the sliding glass door was closed. And he just knocked the sliding glass door down. I've had that happen. Yeah. I've had all kinds. I can't think of any,
What's the angriest you've seen a venue get about something?
Huh.
Like the venue coordinator. Have you ever seen them get upset about like
Yeah,
people
every
mistreating
week.
it? Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
I am venue coordinators, wedding planners, hate DJs.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
100% hate DJs. If
I've seen it sometimes.
if you are a yes ma'am, oh yes ma'am, oh I'll do that, yeah, and do everything they say, but not really be a good DJ, but you're basically kissing up to them, they'll love you,
Right.
and you're the best DJ. You're not. Actually those are the DJs that kiss up are the ones that stink. It's usually the ones that are great, that know their job and want to do their job the best. So when they're asking you to do something and it kind of limits you,
Right.
then all of a sudden now you're being limited to your capabilities.
Yeah.
And therefore you don't want to do it and blah, blah, blah. Another thing I hate are when you go like me, in my contract, it says, I will be provided the same meal that your guests are being served.
Yeah.
I will get beverages such as water and soda, no alcohol for any of the crew that I'm with if I have a helper or something with me. But it's just water, soda, and a meal.
Yeah.
Now,
Seems fair.
that's what I get in my contract, but it says that I get served that. They always want to give me a vendor meal. I said, well, my contract, no, that's okay. They didn't pay for it. I'm like, you're getting $120 for each person's plate that costs you about maybe $5 or $10 in food.
Yeah.
So the other $115, I'm sure I can get one plate if somebody didn't show up that paid for that particular seat, because I see empty seats. Okay?
I know for a fact you have a plate.
Then I'll walk into the back, especially corporate events, and then I'll walk into the back of the kitchen, the back of the house, for whatever reason, to get something out of my bag, or if I store something back there or whatever. I'm not saying I do it all the time, but when I have, and I've gotten chewed out for getting in the buffet line, and I'm always last, I always wait to be. That's like I get first. But I go to the back, all the staff members are eating.
Yep.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You can have 10 of your staff eating all the food, but you couldn't let me have one plate and I'm the DJ and it's on my contract? Boy, it just irks me. I've gotten into so many arguments. I've gotten banned from places. I feel like I'm discriminated against.
Right.
Because you know what happens? And this happens if you really watch, they'll say no to the DJ, but the photographers will be the first one in line. Because why? Because they got to go take pictures right after dinner, or take the couple out for sunset photos. Or what.
Yep.
So they go right through the line like nothing. Nope.
Yeah.
Not the DJs. We got to give you a vendor meal in a box.
Right. Throw them a PB&J. Let them be happy with that.
Well, that irks me so. I mean, it just ribs me to death.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll take, try not to say something, but a lot of times I do, hey, what am I? You think I'm a lower class than you? Why don't I get the same respect as everybody else? Everybody else can eat. Why can't I? I've been here since 2:00 this afternoon. It's now 7.
Yeah.
I started setting up the ceremony.
I'm not going home until 11 or something.
Right.
So.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
So, that. But anyway, I don't want to get on that because that's not even part of DJing. But
right.
when it comes to the venues, I'm just letting you know, you asked me a question about that. That's the worst. It's just that DJs get treated subpar from all the respect that everybody else gets.
I've found that there's of course a mix. There are certainly DJs who just ruin it for the rest of us, and then there's venues who are better and worse than the others. I've seen it go both ways. Where I've seen a venue that went out and like bought extra silverware or something because the caterer dropped the ball and failed to do that.
I haven't seen that.
I've seen it where I've actually had the venue unplug my DJ set. Where they were like, no, it's 10:01, and they were supposed to stop at 10. So everybody out right now. They'll just turn the lights on,
if they
unplug
do that,
stuff.
my hard drive, I will lose my mind. But anyway,
Yeah.
back to now. I do want to say this for all of the venues, and I do 200 events a year.
Yeah.
Out of all the events, I have seen a lot of the people actually. They'll offer me hors d'oeuvres. They'll offer me, hey, you want to eat? Make sure you get to something to eat, something like that. But the majority of the ones, I would say the majority of the venues are not like that. But I've had, probably 30% of them that are super nice and treat me great, okay? Yeah. But the majority of them, especially the highfalutin ones, like the Marriotts, the
high-ticket ones, they're always.
The bigger, and then the expensive venues and stuff, those are the ones that treat you bad.
Yeah.
The regular catering companies or the regular venues that are halls or something that are kind of privately owned, Those are great. They'll treat you just like everybody else.
Yeah, that's been the trend that I've seen in my experience as well. Is that like the higher scale the venue is, the more micromanaging and the higher expectations they have, the more contracts you have to sign with the venue and insurance and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I've definitely seen that as well.
But I make sure and clear everything beforehand. And when I don't, I go to the client and I go, hey, they're not letting me eat and it's in my contract. Then the client goes straight to the person and you watch. They start treating me like gold at that point.
Right.
Then all of a sudden I learned that. See, I used to fight with a person directly years ago, like 20 years ago, directly. And I stopped doing it. I realized that if I just go to my client, which I don't want to bother my client. I don't. No. But if I just go to my client and go, hey, it's in our contract, and they're saying, no, I can't. What? No. And then the client goes, and all of a sudden, I'm the king.
Everyone who's familiar with the wedding space is familiar with the concept of a bridezilla. And I actually haven't had too many. It does happen sometimes where you'll get a bride who's a little bit more micromanagey, or sometimes a lot more micromanagey than others. But it's actually pretty rare for me. I less than 5% of the time. It's a pretty low probability. And in my experience, what I think is happening is that if a bride does not have faith in her vendors to care about how her wedding is going to go as much as she cares about it, in my experience, that is what fosters the attitude of being a bridezilla. But I'm curious about your perspective on the bridezilla phenomenon and what your thoughts are on that.
I haven't experienced either. I do a lot. I mean, like I said, I do well over 100, 150 weddings a year, but corporate events and all that kind of supplement whatever the number of weddings I have that year. But I don't see a lot of bridezillas. I really don't. There are some that are just, I think it's more of nerves and wanting everything to go right. You got to remember, these girls are planning not only their whole life for a wedding, but mentally, but when they actually start the planning, they're going, anywhere from, I'd say 3 months on the short side, but usually 6 to 9 months to a year and a half that they've got all that's just consuming them, and it's consuming them, and it's consuming them. And now you're down to the day.
Right. It's finally arrived.
And all the nerves are there, and you want everything to go perfect. And there are things that are going to happen. There's always something small, whether it's a DJ situation, a catering situation, a photography situation, a hotel, a hall or hotel situation, a dress situation. I've had, whether wardrobe malfunctions, not me, but I'm just saying while I was there, we can't do the announcements because they're trying to sew up the bride's dress or whatever. So, I mean, things do happen, is what I'm saying. Right. Cakes fall, leaning because of the whatever.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, I've had so many things happen that don't go perfect. But back to what I was saying, I always treat the brides, honestly, like they're princesses. Because I know it's so important to them. And they want things to be so perfect. And they're not going to be perfect. There's some that come out great, but not everything is perfect. So we want it to be as perfect as possible. So I treat the brides, I try to not overly do it, because you don't want to be like, oh my God, this guy is too much, back off kind of thing.
You don't want to fatigue them.
But you want to basically go, oh, if there's anything I can do, please let me know. If you change your mind on anything, let me know. I'll take care of it. I'll run the show, whatever. While I'm there. Well, not beforehand. I mean, beforehand, you go through your whole pitch. That's fine. But I'm talking about when you're there, you make them feel comfortable that no matter what you need, I can do it.
Right.
Because I'm here to do whatever you want me to do. If you're happy and all your guests are happy, then I get talked about and the party gets talked about and your wedding gets talked about for years. I've had couples that I've DJ'd 30, 40 years ago who then their kids got, married 20 years later.
And
now their kids are graduating. And I'm doing multiple families. You know why? Because I did that. I treated them special. I did the mom and pop customer service. So I don't get the bridezilla a lot.
Yeah.
I'll get girls who are stressed. I'll get girls who don't want to be bothered with me asking a bunch of questions because they got so much in their head and going on. It's not me. It's not the bridezilla. I've got ones that are just very controlling. Yeah. But I don't call them bridezillas. No. They just are so worked up from a year and a half that they just want everything. It's like, I put in all this work, you know what I'm saying?
And the money of it.
And, well, the money,
there's
true.
There's the plans, there's the money, there's the social expectations.
And we just had a service at church that said, our pastor said, where you put your money is where your heart is, because you work so hard for your money.
Yep.
So if you put your money somewhere, your heart's going to be there. So if you put your money into negative stuff, like, sin or illegal, your heart's actually going to be there. So if you want to put your money in good stuff, then obviously, invest your money in good stuff. That's where your heart's going to go. And like you said, the bride's putting her money into this, parents, family members, whoever's putting the money, but still the heart is there. Mm-hmm. Because, like you said, the money. But not lately. I think earlier in the years I had more bridezillas than currently. But again, I'm going to get jinxed because every time I say something in my life, I haven't gotten a ticket in 5 years. Bam, I get a ticket.
There. Yep. I
within the next 2 weeks,
get that.
I get it. It's just the way. It's like
your microphone's going to crack in half or something.
So but anyway, if you have another question, go for it. If not, the microphone gave a story.
Okay. Okay. So I'll let you choose between the three. What your story is. The two questions that I've had in mind is, I believe you're bilingual, or at least you're able to provide bilingual services.
I provide bilingual services when it comes to turntable or
with
controllers.
The music. Right.
I can talk and I can understand a little bit of Spanish. I say a little bit, enough to get by. But for me to professionally say a structured Spanish sentence correctly as an MC, no. I hire Carlos Jose, which is a 20, 30-year veteran on radio and TV. He's a Spanish announcer.
Yeah.
He's been a friend of mine for 40 years. And I hire him when I need an MC. Or George Rubio, who's another DJ who's got his own business and stuff. And I hire him. He's the one that took over for me this past week to go to my other friend's wedding. It was the last 2 hours. The funny part about it is that I was reluctant to leave the wedding prior to even having the date of the wedding. Like before, I'm telling my wife, I don't know if I'm going to make it to the wedding. Right. I want to make sure I stay at this and make sure this is right. But then after getting all her, what I call my gig sheet, getting her music and talking to her like a final couple of weeks before, I realized she said, I don't want any dancing. I want all Christian Spanish and American music, Christian. Easy. Nobody's going to dance.
Yeah.
Here are the 5 games I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do the toast. Here's what I want you to do this. And instead of throwing a garter, we're going to throw a soccer ball. I guess they like soccer or whatever. We're going to play this. So, and I was like, but there's no dancing.
Yeah, so she just wants a party vibe.
So the last 2 hours, not even. She just wants people to hang out and talk and just play specifically Christian music, either in Spanish or American Christian music. So I played 80% Christian music, just in a random playlist, just mixing the songs, on the computer, not even actually playing. And everybody just sat there and talked. But then when I ran the games, obviously I was interactive, and then George was my MC.
Yeah.
So I either told him what to say and what to do, or I said in English and then he repeated it in Spanish. So to answer your question, when it goes to the whole Spanish thing, I can do any event. I've done Indian, I've done Spanish, I've done Italian, I've done Portuguese, I've done Chinese, I've done it all.
So smart.
So long story short, I hire someone if I need that language.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
that is such a clever way to approach that.
I study the music and I do the music.
See, I was like, I'm decent enough with my Spanish that while I can't improvise a fluid sentence, I can definitely prepare announcements ahead of time. So I already know like the majority of things that need to be said in the first place. And then any other time I need something on the fly, I'll just look up a translation. I can accurately pronounce Spanish, so that's fine. But with other languages, I've been thinking like, what would I do on that end? If someone wanted to do like a Chinese wedding or something, the music is the easy part. I listen to Chinese music on my personal time. But when it comes to making announcements and things, I was like, I guess I could like, go to some,
now
11
with
Labs AI stuff.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking is like, I could always just generate some announcements.
And then just do an audio out.
But I like this idea of hiring a specialist, MC for that. That's really smart. No, I like that a lot. Okay. So that makes sense to me. I get where you're coming from on the bilinguality or just non-English events. So then between the other story that you had in mind and how your faith has affected your journey as a DJ, pick one of those and run with it.
I'm going to start with the faith.
Okay.
Got to put God first all the time.
Amen to that.
So basically, in my earlier years, I didn't have Jesus, God, or faith in my heart or my mind.
So you weren't like born into the church kind of a thing. You came to that?
Yeah, correct. I went to Christ the King Catholic school the first 5 years, but then I repeated the 5th grade because I couldn't get past. My dad pulled me out, put me in public school. As I went to that Christian school, or Catholic school, I should say, when I went to that Catholic school, I saw, how they did their Catholic masses and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I was young. I was, probably 12 years old at that time, from the 1st grade to 5th grade. Long story short, I lived all my life. My parents weren't religious or nothing like that. So I was running loose, man. Just honestly, sinning in every way I could possibly sin. But the one thing I didn't do that I stayed away from was drugs and alcohol. Okay. Never had a drink in my life.
Wow.
Never had any drugs in my life. Never smoked a cigarette. Never smoked pot. Never had a beer. Never had wine. Never had alcohol.
Super straight edge.
Never had anything. Wow. And then when I started DJing nightclubs, alcohol was all around me. It's like, oh, come on, man, we got to have a shift drink. Not going to do it. So I remember this one nightclub. I'm trying to think of the name. I think it was Ocean Club, if I remember correctly. I was DJing and at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, everybody goes to get a shift drink. And I'm kind of hanging out with the crew, with the bouncers, the bartenders, the cocktail girls or the servers or whatever. And I had finished DJing that night and we're all hanging out. We're laughing and joking and everything. And they put a shot. And I'm like, everybody's at the bar. And so was I, but just to talk and hang out. And they put it, drink. I'm like, no. Everybody took the shot and mine stayed there. I was like, you're not, everybody kept, I'll give you $100. Nope.
Oh, man.
I'll give you this. Nope.
They got to see it.
The hottest blonde that was there. And I loved blondes. I married 3 of them.
Got it. Fair.
But
the man's got a type.
So she goes, the shot was a blowjob. If you drink the blowjob, I'll give you a blowjob.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, no. And they're all, are you kidding me? No. And like,
yeah.
So I never, ever, ever drank.
Wow. Not even with the bribest of bribes.
Correct. Not money, not sex, nothing could get me to drink. So you asked me, how did alcohol affect my DJing? 0. Because I've never had a drink in my life. Now, I was 55 with my current wife. And it was 5 years ago. I had my first glass of wine.
Okay.
And I didn't have the whole glass. I shared it with her. I had a couple of sips.
Love it.
And since then, I've probably had, I don't know, maybe 10 sips of my wife's wine.
Got it.
Over the years. So I still.
Well, that's intimate. Barely counts.
Never had a beer. I've never had a beer. Never had any alcohol. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
and you've never drank recreationally?
No. I've never. I remember going to high school parties and people were like, "Hey, come on, Mike," and I'd grab it. And I'm like, "Yeah." The glass in my hand when no one's looking, and just toss it away.
Right.
I'd throw it in the garbage or put it on the counter or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like no one's going to pay attention. They're not paying attention. They just want to know that you're part of the group. You know, and I was so wild. Again, I had a very outgoing personality my whole life.
Yeah.
Especially as a DJ. Like I said, I think God had a plan for me.
Yeah.
And this is, and I don't want to DJ the rest of my life. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I never wanted to DJ my whole life because my dad always steered me away from it. My dad, he's been passed away 2 years ago, but he's been gone. But from the time I was 15 to the time I was probably 36 years old, he always said, when are you going to get a real job? You're not going to be able to do this when you're 40 and 50 years old. Yep. You're not going to be able to do this when you're older. You're going to find yourself where you're going to look back and go, what the hell was I thinking? You can't be a DJ the rest of your life. Well, praise God that my Father in heaven had a different plan because, he stirred. So I guess I never wanted to be a DJ. But now, I shouldn't say now, but the last 25 years, I love what I do. Yeah. I don't want to do anything else. I want to be 70 and still DJ.
Love that.
And even if it's not for a full-time living, I want to do it for the love of it. Yeah. Not because I need to make
you're in it for the love of the game.
Not because not because I need I don't want to be out working 200 gigs at 70 years old. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now I do because this is the way I'm making my living. But once I retire, I'll do it because I want to. Someone asked me, "Oh, you DJ'd our corporate event 5 years ago or 2 years or last year or whatever." I'll probably do repeat business or a recommendation or whatever the case is, and I'll still go out if they want me to do it.
Yeah.
I don't look my age, so therefore I'm still doing great at my craft and as my DJing. And as I said, my dad steered me away from it.
Yeah.
He finally accepted it when I was making 3 times what he made.
Yeah.
Then he was like, okay, well, maybe
I guess it's real.
I guess, right. And then he never said anything else after that. He never said anything. But you knew he never really thought, he knew that there was going to come a shelf life that I wasn't going to be able to keep going the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So again, I do want to keep going. I don't want to stop DJing. I love what I do. I just don't know how long it's going to last.
Yeah.
Either my body's going to like my knees or my back or
all the lifting.
And I've always said I'll get a younger guy who wants to be an apprentice and learn, and he can learn from me, and
he'll just lift all the stuff out of the car,
and he'll do all the manual labor.
Yep.
And I'll do all the brains and the experience.
That's a great way to go. And gets that mentorship going, which the world always could use more of.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Hope I answered your question.
You did.
I think we went off on a tangent.
I mean, that's what we're here for.
So I want to tell you a story about my mic.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm very particular with my equipment. I try to buy the best of the best. So when I buy a microphone, it's $800 to $1,000. If I try to, my speakers, my Bose speakers, I got 4 Bose speakers. Each one of them was $2,250 a piece, brand new, plus tax shipping, whatever.
Right.
So I mean, I buy the best of the best that I can buy that I want. If I like something, I buy it. I've got the Rev 7 controller with the moving platters. I've got the Flex 10, and then I got an old SRT that I don't even use anymore.
Just have it because you like how it looks.
But I also have I mean, I used it because the controller was a good controller back then. But then they replaced it with the Flex 10, so I bought the Flex 10.
Gotcha.
Then I got my Technique 1200s that I've had for 40 years now. And I've got my X1s, and the X1s, what those are the Pioneer decks. They're just like the 1000s, but instead of it being 1000, the DDJ 1000, the X1s played CDs and DVDs.
Oh.
So it was music video out of the turntable.
Right.
So when video got big video got big in the 80s, but when video got big DJing in early 2000s, there was no digital DJing.
Right.
You had to have the disc.
Yeah.
So you had to buy a library of all the music videos, or else you couldn't music video DJ. So I spent $20,000 buying videos, video turntables, which are the X1s.
Yeah.
The 3 video screen monitors, the AB switcher, so you can, when you mix, switch, because it wasn't an automatic.
Right.
And then all the screens and projectors and I spent
just make a whole production
over $20,000 to do this. And Playboy Playmate found out that I had this equipment.
Right.
So they wanted me to DJ their party. So they said, I don't know who told them. Somehow or another they got the word.
Word got out. Yeah.
And I was the only DJ in town that had all this equipment.
Yeah.
So at the Hard Rock pool party for the Playboy Playmates, I got out there and set up the screens, set up the my equipment, and did music video DJing with those turntables and everything. And it was awesome because it really popped me up another level because all the DJs that were there got to meet me, see my equipment. I remember some guy walking in the tent, and now I know him as Chris Craze, but I didn't know him at the time.
Gotcha.
He walks in there, and he was one of the DJs for Hard Rock, and he walks in and he goes, "Damn, somebody spent some money." That was the first thing he said,
I love it.
And so it was, it was something. But anyway, so since I take so much pride in my equipment,
I
had an $800 microphone. And the $800 microphone was given to a guy to give a toast, a best man. And he was probably, I'd say 6'3", 6'4", whatever he was. And a tall guy.
Yeah.
And I'm a short little sucker, so, here you go.
Right.
So he gives his whole speech, blah, 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 and then he holds his hand up like this, and he didn't drop it. He spiked it.
Oh, gosh.
Okay?
No.
Cracked the housing of the microphone.
Yeah.
That's the last time that I had used that mic. And when I was so upset, I was like, dude, you're going to pay me this $800 so I can buy a new mic.
Yeah.
You didn't, what if I go to your car right now, smash your windshield, give me your computer, let me slam your computer on the ground. How would you feel?
Like, who do you think you are?
It's not your microphone, it's my microphone. You threw my, well, I didn't know it was going to. I said, dude, he goes, I'm not paying you nothing. So I go to the client. Well, then now the client gets all up. So I got a bad review because I'm, trying to get my equipment replaced. So I put in my contract. If anybody damages the equipment, you are responsible as the client to either repair or replace that equipment. So you said microphone earlier, but that just, and it was like, if it was an accident, like I've had a girl, actually one of my 4 mic sets, I don't know where she put it. I can't tell you until today, about 15, 20 years ago, she had the mic. She walked around hollering, I'm laughing at her and stuff like that. You know, we're having a good time. And I knew her from high school. Yeah. It's not like I didn't know this girl. She happened to be at the party I was at. It was a Gasparilla party for Gasparilla Parade. And she goes, amazing mic. And she's going around joking with people and, you know, I'm mixing and DJing and never saw that mic again.
No.
But I didn't get mad because it was an accident. Right. She didn't try to break it. She must have placed it down somewhere or whatever. And I got busy and forgot she even had one of my mics. Yeah. Because of a 4 mic set and I had my 3 mics there. Right. To the end of the night, and I don't know, I'm like, where's looked around for it, couldn't find it anywhere.
Just somebody took it home.
I don't know. Yeah. I have no idea what happened to it. That was, again, 20 years ago. I had this other girl, tripped, she grabbed onto my speaker. Boom, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
And then like a guy was setting up just recently, I don't know, probably about maybe 6 months ago, and he knocked down this. You ever seen those partitions, but they're that fake foliage?
Yeah.
Well, that's what it was. And he bumped it as he was the bar back.
Right.
From behind. This is before the gig even started.
Yeah.
And it hit, like it leaned over, hit my speaker, and my speaker, bam, on the
dominoes.
ground.
Oh, gosh.
So what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Make them pay for it? No. I wrote up an incident report that if anything's wrong with this, then the venue will pay for it because he was working for the venue as part of the insurance and blah, blah, blah. You know, so, but this one guy, I lit up because he did it on purpose. And he didn't drop it. He spiked it. So,
I feel like usually venues are trying to get it to work the other way around, where they'll have you like add them. They'll have you add them as an additional insured, so that if anything happens, then you're on the hook for it.
My insurance covers it, right?
Right,
correct.
So at that point, like, if something like that happened, they would just say use your insurance to pay for it, right?
100%. Yeah. I still write up an incident report because then my insurance can go after them if it was one of their employees.
Oh, see, that's it's never happened to me, so I've always wondered how I would handle that if it.
Yeah, unfortunately, there have been things that have happened. And the girls are the worst. I hate to say it, but they'll always come over your equipment with a drink in their hand, right over.
I hyperventilate every time. Yeah, I'm just like, you can talk to me, just not with that.
Yeah. So and they'll lean over my facade with a drink, and I always push it back easy because if I push it hard,
I'm not gonna like spill it on them.
Push it back easy and go, no drinks, please back up. You know, that kind of thing.
Same thing.
Because I mean, I had one guy that was a DJ friend of mine. A girl literally spilled a drink, not on purpose, but spilled a drink on his laptop, and his Mac was just fried. It was gone because
it will die instantly,
and it was gone. I don't know if it died right away. He didn't tell me I couldn't do the rest of the gig or anything. I'm just saying, it ruined it. Whether it ruined it then or later on, you know, he could turn upside down and hopefully it'll still work for the night, get through the night. But he still had to spend another $1,500, $1,200 or whatever it was to get another Mac.
Yep. Yeah, I think of that every time I see a drink around my equipment. I've had to pick up stuff off of like my floor speakers, or I've had to. I also run a photo booth as like a side add-on, so people will leave their drinks on like the prop table, and sometimes they'll accidentally knock it over, and it'll like soak into some of the props. So I have to throw them away. I'm just like, I'm just not going to deal with washing those now. They're dead now. But yeah, sometimes people just don't really.
They're not thinking. They're not thinking.
Yeah, and they're drunk. They're partying. You know, they're just not really present enough to come up with that kind of stuff.
I've done pool parties and they got water guns, and all of a sudden I see a stream of water. And I'm like,
yep.
You know, so I mean, people don't think. They're just having fun. Yeah, and I'm not blaming anybody, but
it's like
I got to protect my
accidents
investment.
Happen. We're just trying to make sure that we can actually do the next gig.
100%.
We've got maybe like 5-10 more minutes, something like that we can spend. So I just want to throw you one last thing of what has been.
I got a lot to say, so if you got more questions, brother, let's rip.
Okay. Yeah,
you can always save it for part 2.
I'm thinking I might have to invite you back on because I'm sure you've just got a reservoir of a bunch of stories. For this one, I think I'll just have us finish with one or both, depending on how much time we have, of a lesson that you've learned in your personal life, that's something that's just like general wisdom that you've learned in your life, or specific to the business of like something that you learned in the business that you're glad to have learned, or it was like a hard lesson to learn that you would hope that you could help someone not have to learn the hard way.
Wow.
So you can pick one or the other or both.
My brain was thinking about part 1, and I didn't even hear part 2.
Okay, fair.
So I want you to re-ask the question, but I'm just going to be honest with you and tell you, I don't know if I'll be able to answer that, to be honest with you, as good as I can for the technical part of DJing and experience-wise. But go ahead and just...
No worries. So in both directions, it's just something that you've learned either for your own personal life or something that you've learned for the business side.
I'd say personal life. Oh my gosh. And the one thing I want to say, to be honest with you, is I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, which were good.
Yeah.
But my vice was women.
I hear you.
So radio stations, when I was on the radio, doing gigs, nightclubs. I mean, I can't tell you how many times because of women.
Of course.
I lost jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing while I was DJing. There have been several things, probably I'd say 10 to 15 radio stations, nightclubs, and other venues that, not like private events or anything. This is when I was younger. Don't get me wrong. This is 30 years ago.
No, I'm picking up the okay. This is from an age gone by.
Yeah. So once I had kids and settled down, that was a whole different change.
Yeah,
but
that'll change any man.
Yeah. So, but I'm just saying, when I was younger, the girls would come and hit on me or be drunk or whatever, and so I would have to say I think my personal life would be good to go back and find a different vice.
Makes sense. Yeah, because it can ruin you for sure.
So it caused some problems in my earlier years, my first probably 15 years of DJing.
What's something that you've learned about either? Was there something about yourself that you have grown out of that like you needed, and that's why you would pursue that? Or is there some like did the way that you see women change?
No,
what has grown out of that?
I think the way that I was raised, and my dad, my sister, which I don't get along with now. Okay. And I don't care if you put that out there, because
I'm sorry to hear that though.
No, she ran away when she was 15, and she was doing drugs and alcohol, and that was one reason why it scared me. Yeah. She also ended up with a 25-year-old at 15. She was 15, 25-year-old manager woman.
Oh.
So all of this got my dad to a situation where he was so into me being a man and not being gay that he totally pushed me the other way.
Yeah.
Here's what you do to a woman, this, here's what this, now watch this, and here's porn. And this.
Oh, man.
And it just really, really fogged up what my reality should have been.
Yeah. So he actually, he pushed you into that kind of a lifestyle.
Correct.
It was, oh gosh.
Correct. And between that and then having the abundance of women at my disposal at any time because of me being a DJ.
Yep.
And I'm not the worst looking guy in the world. So, having
you got an exciting profession.
Right. Yeah. And having that stature of being on the radio, being on TV, being in nightclubs. I mean, I remember, honestly, DJing to where no matter what, I could either hook up that night or have somebody that I knew that I could have hooked up with. So anytime it was like there was no chase or game.
Right.
It was just there for me all the time.
It just constant access.
And I became obsessed with it, and it became my drug.
So how did you grow from that? Like what is different about you now than who that man was back then? I did a wedding, and there was a gentleman named Pastor Sane. I don't remember his first name now. I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head. Lynn. Okay. A man named Lynn. Okay, gotcha. Lynn Sane. And when he met me, hey, blah, blah, and hey, I'm the DJ, and I'm the pastor. He goes, I'm the only sane man in the room. His name was Sane. Right. That's but he clever. Said it as a joke. Yeah. And he laughed, and I laughed, and I shook his hand. I'm like wondering, what does that mean? He's the only sane man in the room. Yeah. And he goes, my name's Pastor Sane. I said, oh. So we kind of hit it off right there. And again, I wasn't going to church. I wasn't religious, nothing like that. And I also, which I don't want to say a confession, but just something that happened to me when I was either 8 years old, 6, 8 years old, probably 8.
my grandmother's husband's 16-year-old son tried to molest me. So I've had a lot of things happen that kind of warped who I was.
Yeah.
But when Pastor Sane met me, he invited me to his church. And I told my wife at the time that this is, hey, I met this guy. He seems pretty cool. Small little church. Everybody there, average age of 80. I mean, there were older people that were there. It was an old Baptist church. And there must have been maybe 40 people in the whole church. Okay. Right. Small building. And I went there, and I don't know what it was, but and it was God's plan. He put me on that path to kind of have that relationship with Pastor Sane.
Yeah.
And kind of put me in there. And then I started buying equipment and putting it into the church. And I was just giving and serving and giving. Yeah. And I got on fire for the Lord. And I remember sitting in church with my son, who was probably 10 or 12 years old at the time. No, maybe he was a little bit over 15. I don't know. He was, and I had two little daughters. And again, small church. We were the youngest people there.
Yeah.
And I was in my 30s. I was 33. And I remember them doing Pastor Sane doing an altar call. And I don't know. I really, till this day, it kind of blows my mind. And that's why I stopped for a second. Somehow or another, and I think it was angels, I got up and I don't remember my feet moving at all.
Yeah.
And I say I floated because I don't remember walking.
Right. Yeah. For all you know, you teleported there.
A trance.
Yeah.
And I walked up to the front, and I want to say I was carried because I honestly don't remember my brain going, I'm going to go do an altar call.
Yeah.
It was almost like it was divine happening. And I got up there and I got on my knees, and Pastor prayed for me and asked me if I'll accept Jesus into my heart as my Savior. And I said, yes. Again, I'm getting emotional right now.
Yeah.
At 33, I gave my life to Christ, and I haven't been perfect since. But I've been trying to be perfect.
It's the pursuit of perfection, for sure.
So that began my walk, and I think that's what changed me. My kids, Jesus, and moving on.
Yeah.
I think that's what changed me. And don't get me wrong, I've made still same mistakes.
Yep. Yeah. Some habits are hard to break, but that was kind of the catalyst that made you start fighting back.
But for the last 10 years, I want to say that I've been probably the best Christian I've ever been for the last 10 years.
It's amen, brother. No, that is so good to hear.
And you know what's going to happen now? The devil's going to attack me because I said it out loud.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to be tempted like crazy.
Well, that's what we need the brethren for, right? That's why we got to be, edifying and supporting and encouraging one another, because it's always when you think that you're safe that you're kind of in the most vulnerable state, because there's any moment. For sure.
And my mom used to tell me, it's so funny, she goes, why do you go to church on Sunday when you're out screwing around with women on Saturday? And I said, because I got to repent for what I did last night. It's like that was, it wasn't that I was perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, it was kind of like getting, we all, listen, when we're born, we're not swinging a bat, building computers and running around track or anything.
Right.
We have to go from being taken care of as an infant, to learning how to stand, to learning how to walk, to learning how to run with skinned knees, skinned hands. Then we got to learn how to talk and eat and cook and take care of ourselves and get our own money and to become an adult. And the world is telling us to do something different than what we should be doing. So as we're going through this infancy to adulthood, it takes 20 years just to, quote unquote, be a standard adult according to what adult is, 21.
Right.
You're not an adult, because mentally and emotionally, it takes you to your 30 or 40 before you really become an adult. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that in my Christian walk, all the mistakes I've made, I'm still growing up.
Yeah.
So yes, I was on fire, then I lulled, then I was on fire, then I was lulled, then I was on fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as my walk, and that also, my personal life, my business and everything has also rode this roller coaster to where I'm at today. And I'm only going to strive to be a better person as I move forward. And not that I'm a great person because I'm going to tell you the story about yesterday, but my wife and I I took yesterday off because I did 6 gigs last week. So I took yesterday off.
Yeah.
But there was a guy who was at a pool that we were at, our neighborhood pool, and the dad didn't come in. So I'm like, I wonder if he doesn't have the money to pay the entry fee, the 15 or 20 bucks. So I said, I'm going to go, it was a black guy, let his son came in, the little black kid was in the thing. And I'm thinking, why does the dad want to be with his kid?
Right.
So he's from the gate outside looking through the gate. And I'm like, I walked up to him. I was like, don't get in their business. And I'm like, no, I feel like I want to do it. I'm blessed. Let me do it.
Yeah.
So I went over there and I asked him, I said, hey, dude, I'll pay for you to come in. He goes, oh, no, I'm going to be fishing over here. My son just wanted to swim. And I said, okay, but if you want, I'll cover your costs. I'll pay. And he goes, no, we're good. I said, okay. So I went back and sat down.
Yeah.
He didn't accept the money. I don't know if that's the truth or not.
Right.
I don't know if he was embarrassed, but I was trying to be a good friend or Samaritan or whatever.
At least now he knows that someone was willing.
I mean, what I'm trying to say is I try to help.
Yeah.
And I try to be a good person. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, because we're called to have a spirit of like charity, of just wanting good for other people. So I think honestly that's the best we can do is just try, give it our best. Well, Mike, Sean, Fernandez, thank you so much for being here.
Can I give a shameless plug?
Yeah, definitely. Look at the camera. Tell people where they can find you, how they can get connected.
Crewentertainment.com, CREW, crewentertainment.com. I've got probably about, 60, 70, 80 videos on there. It comes up with little thumbnails, and below that it says load more. Click on the load more to keep loading videos, or you can drill down into categories. If you want to learn about me, just do a Google search, AI search. Some lady wanted to hire me and I wasn't available that date. And she was bummed out because it was for her family party and it was an 80th birthday also. And they did some research on me. She goes, you're coming up as #1 on AI and Google, and we want you and this and that. And they offered me double the money I was already being, and I couldn't, obviously, once I commit to a client. But what I'm saying is if you want to learn about me, you can Google me or AI search me. I never did it, so I didn't know until she told me. But it was a high compliment. And I love what I do, and I don't want to ever stop. Awesome. I did want to say one caveat. Is that okay? Everybody that talks about DJing, they always do this. Wiki, right? And I've never been a great scratcher.
Oh, yeah. It's a hard skill.
I've never been a great scratcher. I can scratch.
Yeah.
I can transform. I can blurb. I can chirp. I can do all the things. I'm just not. I see these guys out there that are just amazing.
Yeah.
And it takes hours and hours of practice. Anyway,
absolutely.
When you're DJing, the most important thing about DJing is being able to create a vibe and memories that last a lifetime for those who are there, whether it's a nightclub, a bar, a restaurant, a wedding, a corporate event. You want to basically make their night not how good can I scratch or how good can I mix, or it's not about that.
Yeah.
How you play the music, when you play the music, formatting and reading the group. Those are the main things.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that, to all the DJs out there, they say, oh, I'm better than this guy. You see me scratching on there? Great. I can do it. But I don't claim to be good at it. But I tell you this, when it comes to being a DJ for an event or radio or a nightclub, I'll kill it.
I hear that. Well, once again, thank you so much for giving me the time.
Thanks
for taking the time for the podcast. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.